Bob Zykowitz again, and now my guest is Catherine Noble, who is our volunteer coordinator. Good morning, Catherine.
Good morning.
How nice to see you.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
I'm going to start off by mentioning sometimes when I'm sitting around a breakfast or whatever table, and I mention about I pass on coupons to the front desk. Some people say, what do you mean, etc. So I explain, and I think maybe, hopefully this program will alert some people as to how they can participate.
Sure.
Would you give us a background on the insert in the Sunday paper? What are these coupons? How you can get them from apartment A to the front desk to you, etc.
So the coupon clipping is a program that helps our veterans and the veterans' families. So that's what it's really for. So we start with the coupons. So around the campus, a lot of people give their coupons to the front desk, their prospective front desk, who then put it in an envelope and deliver it to Garden Ridge. It comes to me. And then with those coupons, our assisted living residents each week gather together to cut out the coupons, and we put them in special packages, and they go in a box, and the box then goes to a distribution center for veterans, and they go to veterans' families to get the coupons. So it's very helpful, and part of the program is that they're not, they can, I think they double them, and then they don't expire for the veterans as well. So it's a great program, and also it's a great program for our residents in assisted living because it's a time to gather together people that maybe can't readily go out to the hospital to volunteer or the local school, but they still want to be service minded. They still want to contribute. That allows them to do that. And then if you've ever sat around and looked at coupons, it's just hysterical. The conversations that happen, the memories it sparks of different products, and people start talking about, oh, do you remember when this used to look like this? And boy, it didn't cost that much then, and those types of things. So it's fun.
What you're telling me and the viewers is that not only is it a volunteer pursuit, it's a social hour.
Absolutely it is, yes.
Wonderful.
And our staff are very involved in this as well.
Oh, I didn't
So
know
it's not
that.
just the residents. The staff bring in their coupons as well. They contribute.
Oh, do they?
Yes, and they also sit with the residents and help. Maybe someone needs a little help with cutting, or it's an opportunity to sit with a resident and talk about those things that you see in the coupons.
Maybe we should reiterate where these coupons come from.
Okay, so the coupons are given from residents here on campus, all throughout the campus. And you can bring them to your front desk, your clubhouse front desk, and then they will go over to Garden Ridge. They will get tracked over to Garden Ridge. Several people just deliver them to Garden Ridge, and that's absolutely fine.
What I was getting at, Catherine, is they come into the Green Spring some way. It's in the Sunday paper.
Oh, yes.
It's in that plastic, and it's red plum and all these little.
Yes.
It's almost in a book size, right?
Yes. So the insert of the paper, some people don't really even look at that too much. So if you pull those coupons out, they can be used, and we can definitely use them. We go through coupons, and we send out boxes of coupons to the veterans several times a month. So they are quite helpful.
That's a beautiful, beautiful exercise.
It is. On
the part of Green Spring. It's another way in which Green Spring contributes to the community.
Absolutely it does, yes. We have tons of volunteers who do a lot of things, and one of the things we're looking for specifically right now, our memory care neighborhood at Garden Ridge. That's the neighborhood that we support residents with, cognitive issues, and we want to support them in a very person-centered approach. So by that I mean we want to spend time with that person individually as much as we can in small groups.
Wonderful.
So obviously that takes a lot of people to do that. So our staff, do that, and we also need volunteers to help with that. So what that would look like is a little bit of special training. I would spend time with those volunteers, get them used to the neighborhood on memory care, show them our wealth of supplies, because we have very specialized products that we use for residents with cognitive issues, and to help them spark those memories and just have a really great engagement process. So if anybody is interested in that, if they could just give me a call.
Your number?
At 703-923-3154.
923-3154.
Correct.
So you're putting out a call
Please.
as of right now.
Yes.
Please come and volunteer.
Yes.
Call me, Catherine.
Yes. It's just, the residents with on memory care, it's just a wonderful experience. I'll share a story with you that
Please do.
that I saw happen. We teach our staff to go with the resident. What we mean by that is sometimes we see things through a certain lens, but disease processes for certain individuals take them through a different lens. So we want to go with that resident. We want to experience where they are. There was a resident who was a lifetime baker, great homemaker, worked at her church, did huge, all the banquets and all those kinds of things. And we have memory boxes on the neighborhood. So this particular memory box was a beach memory box. So it had sand and specialized sand you can use to make things. And it had, the copper tone suntan lotion and sunglasses and all these things to spark memories. And there were 2 staff members that were working with this particular resident, and they were doing a great job. They were saying, "Oh, have you ever been to the beach?" and talking about beach memories, and nothing like copper tone suntan lotion. Everyone remembers that smell.
Yeah,
And the ad. There was a picture of the ad. Remember
the
of the little
dog.
girl? Yes, yes, that classic ad.
Yeah.
And they were all looking at that, and the resident was there and listening, but busy with the sand. And and the staff saw what she was doing. She wasn't making sandcastles. She was busy and making all these balls with the sand. What she was doing was, she said she was making biscuits. She
was reliving?
Yes. And, the staff did absolutely the right thing to help support that resident. Instead of saying, "Oh, well, no, we're going to make, this is sand, we're at the sand." They said, "Well, what kind of biscuits?" "Well, I like butter on my biscuits." And it was just a wonder. So those are the kinds of things that
What a great story.
It was beautiful, beautiful. So
I am so impressed.
yeah. Special training, those types of things to help volunteers understand how to go with that resident and experience that with that resident. And the resident just had a wonderful time for 45 minutes, sitting there rolling those biscuits and talking about biscuits. Nice.
Speechless.
Yeah.
What other volunteer stories do you have for us? What's new in the volunteer group?
Well, right now we're kind of in that celebratory phase, and just really the end of the year time to thank volunteers. And I do want to take this opportunity to just give a shout out to all the volunteers. Just amazing work that is done on campus and off campus too. We have great outreach, like the coupon clipping, and residents that go to the local schools. And
that is quite a volunteer job.
Yeah.
And I personally admire these women, maybe men also, who go to Saratoga as one of these schools.
Yeah.
And because the stories I get is that the children look forward to these volunteers coming in from Green Spring.
they absolutely do.
Speaking of volunteers, have you seen Elka lately?
I have. I see Elko on a regular basis and
You
talk to
do?
her. Yes, she was teasing me the other day because, everyone knows Facebook, so I had a picture of me and our famous Santa Claus here. And she said, "Oh, I just love, Mr. W." And my response back on Facebook was, "Are you implying that this isn't Santa Claus? Please." So we tease each other, and she's doing great. She's, Elko, she's into everything, busy, and she is a volunteer here at Green Spring. So she transitioned. Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
What is she doing?
She's doing a little bit of everything.
What?
She just finished with the theater. She was the stage manager of the
Yes, she
production.
was. Yeah, that's right.
So she's finished with that. So, Elka has a wealth of experience, and she likes to kind of dabble in different different things and keep her interest up. So you'll see her at Garden Ridge. You'll see her here in Independent Living. So she's just a beautiful person and such a giving person.
That's wonderful. Well, I have just been told, Catherine, that our time is running out.
Okay, well, just
You're going to
thank
have to
you.
come back.
Oh, gosh, I would
Please
love
do.
to. I will.
Okay, I have some announcements to make. But first of all, I want to thank Catherine for being here. You have been just absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
Hello again, I'm Bob Sarkowitz, and I'll be your host this morning. And my guest is my good friend, Justin Reeves, who is our finance director. Good morning, Justin.
Good morning, how are you?
Nice to have you with you.
Glad to be here.
Good to see you. I'm going to start off with the cogent question I feel. How are we financially, we Green Spring? Are we doing okay?
We're doing just fine. I'd like to just start out and say we've received our results, through November, probably the end of last week, and we're doing very well. Just one month left in the year, and everything has pretty much played out as we expected. In business, there are always just some things that you don't foresee throughout the year, but we're financially stable enough to tackle those kind of things that happened, and it's just everything is just fine.
Somewhere around the first of each year, the finance director has a meeting with the key people here, and you set up a budget for the year, and I'm sure that you were here at the beginning of 15, and you may not have been the director at that time, but you were sitting in, I'm sure, at a meeting. Have we met all of our budget points?
Yeah, so all the key performance metrics, all of our goals and achievements that we set up at the beginning of the year have pretty much have been met. In terms of Green Spring, and thanks to the wonderful residents of Green Spring, you guys just continue to keep us stable, and it's our kind of purview to manage the money accordingly. And I think us and the team have been doing that.
I have to bring up a rather painful point, if you will. We have been recently informed that our rates are going to go up 2.5% on the monthly maintenance bill. And yet, for us old people, the COL did not go up at all. Couldn't we have maybe shot or shooted for a percent and a half instead of 2.5%?
Yeah, so as I'm creating the budget, I'm doing sensitivity analysis to see at different levels where do the financials pan out. But you also have to realize, even though the Social Security didn't increase, we also have other inflationary measures that do increase. Labor, food, utilities, everyone knows about the real estate taxes. So these are costs that are going to increase no matter what. So I looked at the numbers and looked at the financials, and we just thought that 2.5% was the right number, because we would love to just look 1 year at a time, but in terms of management, and especially in my position, I have to look at the strategy long term. So if we only increase it a certain percentage this year, how does that affect it 5, 10 years from now? Now we talk about stability of Greenspring, or of the community, and we're in a wonderful financial position where the repositioning we're doing next year at Garden Ridge, we don't have to take out any debt. We don't have to go to a bank for a loan. We're using the operating income and the money we've saved throughout the years to fund that project. Now, debt shouldn't be seen as a scary thing, but anytime you cannot use debt to do something, I think that's a positive.
When I sit around a dinner table and we chat about the 2.5%, my response at my level is, we have people here at Greenspring who would like to receive a raise, and they get their raises because of the 2.5% increase. Is that a fair statement or no?
No, that's not. Again, the cost that I listed, the food, the utilities, everything, all those assumptions are taken into account. And I would say on average, next year, our total cost based on those assumptions are going to probably increase 4.4, 4.5%. Now, I can see if I was sitting here and saying that we're going to increase your rates by 4.5%. So it's a 1-for-1. As our costs are increasing, we're going to charge the residents. But no, we're only charging 2.5% to combat some of that cost, because luckily Greenspring is in a great financial situation, and just looking at the industry and where it's going and what's happening, we're one of the few communities and one of the few enterprises where we don't necessarily have to raise rates at the same level of the increased costs that are assumed for the next year.
But any and all employee raises have already been budgeted?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So the budgeting process actually starts in, I want to say, July, August time frame, and we're just doing analysis. I could probably give you 100 pages of analysis that's been done, and we just look at various scenarios and just different levels of raises and benefits, et cetera. So we just believe that 2.5% is the increase that will allow us to maintain our stability throughout a long period of time. And not just for future residents, but for the current residents as well. The repositioning, potential repositionings we have, and last week we had a budget or meeting with the residents where we listed out some significant projects that need to happen. And we wouldn't be able to do that if we didn't have the financial stability that started when the community was built and stabilized.
I have noticed as I travel around the hallways that we are now in the midst of I'll use the word relighting some of the halls with these 2x2 squares lights. Is that in the budget?
Yes, so
that's not costing anything extra. That's been budgeted.
It's been budgeted. So we refer to those as life cycle replacements. So
Life cycle.
a lot of the hallways haven't been updated in a number of years, and from the resident feedback we've received is the inconsistency of lighting. throughout the hallways. So we're just trying to fix that problem or issue that was actually brought up by the residents. So as you understand the community, I'm sure you owned a home at a point in time. You just throughout the years, you just have to do certain updates just to maintain the value of the property, as well as just kind of increase it, and just you just want to brighten things up every now and then. But yes, that was budgeted for.
Well, I know that such upgrades as you just mentioned are most appealing to a newbie, if I can use the word, because when he or she is shown Green Spring, my, how nice things look. Especially when you first come into Green Spring, just the inviting gateway area. Another question that I've had people ask that I'm going to pass on to you, and that is, you and your staff are responsible for feeding information to corporate. Corporate, in turn, then prepares each monthly bill and sends it back to you. Is that correct?
Correct. So we have the various systems. We call them POS or point of sale systems, where we're feeding information about the varying transactions throughout a necessary month. So the information is aggregated at the corporate level, and we just have an outsourced company who basically prints them all out, stuffs them, then sends them back to us to distribute to the residents. So it's really a team process between community and corporate, but we are responsible for providing the necessary information.
But I also see something in your job description that tells you got to check all of those for accuracy based upon the information that you have provided to corporate. Hopefully the corporate doesn't make a mistake and send it back, because you would be the one who bears the brunt of the residents saying, hey, it's all wrong.
Yeah. So that's a fair assessment. However, we just to check 2,000 plus statements, you wouldn't have your statements for another month, so you would be a month in arrears. But but we have various checks and balances where we check certain things, some of the larger items or high volume transactions. But again, we're doing things on a consistent basis to try to cut down the inquiries or mistakes. But again, if you come down to our office, if you have an issue, if you have a question, we're there to answer it. We just want to get it right. That's my main kind of sticking point. I just want it right.
Is your door open anytime?
My door is.
Talk to your young lady at the desk and say, may I talk to Mr. Reeves?
So my door is open anytime. I might not be there, but my door is open anytime. And again, between myself, our financial analyst, Greg, and we're going through a transition period with the front desk person, our accounting office coordinator, but anybody can help you. And if you're on the continuing care side, we have FEMA Watson Brown, our business office manager, to help out with that.
Totally in your office are 3 people?
So in our office, it's 3 people. I make the 4th, and we have another person in the continuing care building.
One other aspect of finance that I'd like to chat about, just for a brief moment. You mentioned Garden Ridge. Most everybody that I have chatted with says, when are they going to start? Number one. Number two, again, I sound like a broken record, but is all that in the budget to pay for all of this? Because we're going to be spending millions, I'm sure, on it, in addition to Garden Ridge. And number three, maybe this is a question for the people over there, but what client is that going to house? Alzheimer's or dementia? I don't know.
Okay. So first of all, I would like to say it is a $48 million project.
Okay.
And yes, it's been budgeted for and planned for years, actually. The reason for the delays is just imagine a project of that magnitude. Again, we're not building from the ground up, we're adding. So the permitting process with the state and the respective locales it just takes time. I think we've all had to go through a permitting process or go to the DMV. So I'll just let that sit there. But again, we just want to get it right. We want to do it right from the start. So if you put in the necessary prep work, you will have less kind of things to worry about later on. And currently, the Garden Ridge or continuing care houses assisted living, skilled nursing, short-term and long-term, as well as memory care. And the demographics or the amount of services will not change. Just think about this as an enhancement. So if you have to be in Garden Ridge, I know we're converting certain units that don't have showers currently. We're putting showers in a lot of those rooms. We're increasing the size of a lot of the rooms as well. We're not necessarily adding rooms, but we're just improving upon what we already have.
Well, Justin, I see that our time is just about out, but you have been just a fountain of knowledge here. I appreciate your, number one, taking time to come over here and chat with us, and number two, to pass on this really important information. And so I thank you very much.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And I'm going to now, before I go, I want to, on behalf of Justin, I'm going to wish all the clients out there a happy, happy holiday season, and I'm sure Justin joins me in saying so.
Happy holidays.
Thank you, sir, for coming on.
Thank you.
And now we have a video roll-in on the entertainment.